Good morning, it's Rebecca from Rebecca Ink. Today we are going to draw this hawk. What you need to join in is a piece of paper, a pencil, a marker, and an eraser or an eraser on the end of your paper. Doesn't have to be a fancy one. That's all you need. So let's get started. I'm going to move my guide. You are going to start with your pencil. So grab your pencil. I'm going to use a marker so you can see me a little bit better. You just make sure you can see my paper. All right, I'm all lined up. We are going to start in the upper left-hand corner of your paper, just a little bit down from the top, right about here. Our hawk is going to be made up of mostly circles and ovals with a few triangles today. So let's start with a circle about this big, right about here on your paper in the upper left-hand side. To get that shape, we are going to move our whole arm from our shoulder around and around and around, and once we get the shape we want, we're going to set our pencil down and go around and around and around and around. Now you see how mine is not perfect. It's a little wobbly on the bottom there, and some lines are going in and some lines are going out. That is okay. We are just roughing it in, and now is the time where you're going to be forgiving of yourself. You're not going to erase anything. You're not going to judge. Mine's not good. And we're just going to let it happen. And I promise you in the long run, when we go over these lines with our markers, you're going to feel really proud of yourself. So our hawk, this is going to be his head. Off to the right hand side here, let's add in a few triangles to get his beak. We're going to come out from there. I'm planting my elbow. And I'm just going to use my fingers. I'm planting my wrist. And I am drawing a triangle there, kind of close to the top. And my triangle is longer and more narrow. On the tip of that triangle, I am going to add in a tiny little oval. Can you see that? It's just really tiny. I'm using my fingers for that shape. They have this little hook at the end of their beaks. On the bottom of that triangle, I'm going to add in just ever so slightly a small triangle, just like that. Can you see that? So we did a bigger triangle with a little oval on the bottom and a little triangle underneath. So good. Let's add in a little dot right there for their nostrils. Then we are ready to move over into the head. Just off of where that beak meets up with the head, we are going to go over from there just a little bit and add in a circle. Now this circle is large enough if you wanted to get your whole arm going, you could, or if you want to just use your forearm, you can. Again, we're going around and around and around to get that shape. When you go around and around, you end up all those lines together, build a nice circle for you. So let that happen. From here, we are going to plant our wrist and give our hawk a arc above his eye, just like that. When we plant our wrist, that makes us move our hand in the natural arc that our hand is going to move in. So do that, and at the end of that arc, we're just going to draw a slight arc the other direction. Hawks have really intense eyes, so this is going to kind of help us get that intensity when we draw over it. Okay, from here, we're going to add in a few details on our eye to help get that intensity I was just talking about. On this side of our circle, we're going to add in a little arc, just like that will fill in the long run. And then inside our circle, we're going to draw another circle. And inside that circle, you guessed it, another circle. That one's super tiny. It's going to be the highlight of our hawk's eye. Okay? All right, moving on to the body. Our hawk has a very puffed out chest. They look proud almost. So we are going to draw that chest with a nice circle. It's going to be about this big on our page. So get your whole arm going from your shoulder and draw in a nice circle. It's almost like you're drawing the next circle in a snowman. So it's going to just stack right on top of there. From there, let's add in a few of our connecting triangles. If you've done these tutorials with me before, you'll know I use triangles to connect the shapes so that when we go over them, we've got a line to write on. So we're going to put one here where his like chin would be, and then over here, we're going to do a nice long one from the back of his head down to that chest. So right along here, nice long triangle. Now my triangle is sticking out a little further, so I'm just going to keep going over it until I get it connected. You can do the same thing. See how we arrive at things. That'll just happen. Alright, so mine is nice and long like that. It goes just past. Now if I were to fill in that shape, this one goes just a little bit further down, so you can see. Okay, moving on from there, our hawk has an oval-shaped body that's going to live right about here. So let's draw in that oval. Now the oval is going to end up being about the same width as that circle. So we're going to let them overlap a little bit. I'm going to actually start up at my circle so I know that they're going to be the same size. Now my oval got a little long there. So follow this line that I'm doing, not that first one that I made, and see, mine isn't perfect, and yours won't be perfect either, so let it happen, it'll be good. Alright, so we've got a nice oval for the body. From here, let's add in some wings. Our hawk is resting, he is perched. So we are going to add in some ovals and triangles over here and over here to give us his wings. So right where our connecting triangle came down, I'm going to start adding in an oval. And it's going to be about this big. It's okay if it overlaps my body. A little bit, just like that, one oval, and then add in that connecting triangle down to our body, just like that. You're doing great. Now along this outside edge where I just did that triangle, I'm going to add in two smaller ovals, one here and one here. This will help us have a nice little detail in that wing. Let's do the same thing on the other side, but this time our wing is going to live inside our hawk's body. So we're going to draw an oval here. It's going to be a little fatter this time because his wing is like pulled over his tummy, just like that. That'll give us the top part of our wing. Now let's add in, from there, let's add in actually a rectangle. I'm looking at my guide, and as I'm talking to you, I'm coming up with some other shapes to describe what we want to do. So, I'm winging it here on the wing. So we had an oval for the top, then a rectangle. Now we are going to add in that triangle on the bottom. Now our triangle is going to come down from the top. Let's do it that way. Come down from the top and down, and then connect it over, just like that. It's going to be long. Long and skinny triangle there. So we did an oval, and then a rectangle, and then a long triangle. Now because our hawk is seated, we are going to see a hint of his little hips. So just like we did when we drew the squirrel, when we drew the bunny, almost every animal, if you look at them and you see that definition in their hips, it comes from this shape right here. So we're going to add in an oval right here. And at the top of that oval, about 3/4 of the way over, I want you to just darken that just a little bit. Just so you know, when we go back over this with our marker, that's where we're going to start. Okay, so that is going to be our hawk's hip. Let's go just right over from that at a diagonal. Go from the top of that oval, just drag your hand at an ever so slight diagonal. See how I'm doing that? Just like that. Over to the other side, and let's draw another oval right there for his other leg. Now, if you are a bird aficionado and you know all the terms and I'm not using them correctly, I'm sorry. I meant to look up what things were called, and then our internet went down for a minute, and I was just like, oh, forget it. So if you want to leave me the actual names of things in the comments below, I would love it. And that can be my little lesson for the day. All right, let's add in our legs. We're going to, actually, you know what? No, we need to add in our perch. So at the base of those ovals, we are going to draw just a nice little arc. It's going to be about this big. Sitting like on a stump. To get that arc, I am moving my arm from my elbow, and I'm kind of just the natural arc that your arm will go in this time. If you need to rotate your paper, if it feels more comfortable to draw that upside down, do that. Sometimes I do that too. I'm just not going to do it here because I don't want to confuse anybody. From either side of that arc, let's just draw some lines going straight down. Now my trick for drawing a straight line, I'm going to set my pencil down and then I'm going to pull my hand off the page. Same thing on the other side. Set your pencil down, pull your hand off to the side. Now if you notice, my lines aren't perfectly straight, and that's actually going to give my drawing some energy. So let your lines be a little crooked. When a drawing is like too perfect, it feels sterile. So let those little happy accidents happen and enjoy them and let them give energy to your drawing. Okay, we're going to add in, now I'm guessing these are called talons. This is again where I should have looked things up, but we're going to add in the legs here. And if you notice on your fingers, if you look at your fingers, you've got like an oval shape here, an oval shape here, and an oval shape here. Now their claws or talons, let me know, are kind of like that. So we are going to start with this back leg. Now his foot is hidden behind this perch, and we're just going to see a few of his talons sticking up. So we're going to start here with a little oval here, just like that. Now this would be like this part. Then we're going to add in this part. From there, straight down, another oval, and then a littler one, just like our fingers, where it gets a little bit smaller as it goes down. Maybe not, but a little bit. We're going to do that. Now at the end of that last little oval, we're going to add in a tiny triangle. I'm hoping you can see that. Little tiny triangle to give us the claw on the end. Now, we're not going to see his other claw, talon here. We're going to do one behind that one. So we're going to do an oval here. Now this would be like this center section, and then a little one on the end of that with that triangle on the end there. So an oval, and then a smaller oval, and a triangle. You're doing so good. These shapes will make sense to you when we trace over them, and you're going to be like, what did I just draw? I'm amazing. Okay, over to this leg. Where we had that hip, up about middle of the way on the left-hand side of that oval, we're going to add in a little circle right there. And from that circle, we are going to add in a rectangle coming down right there. I've got lots of lines there, so I'm going to go over that so you can see it a little bit better. So we added a circle and then a rectangle. All right, now let's add in those claws. We're going to start with this one. From that rectangle, we are going to do an oval over here, just like that. And then that next section coming down, curving over our stump. Then that littler one curving in even a little bit more so it's holding on. And then add in that triangle. So good. All right, next one. It's going to live right about here and do about the same thing. So we're going to do an oval coming this way. I'm planting my wrist, and I'm just using my fingers to make these shapes. They're a little bit smaller, so we need a little closer detail. Fine motor movements there. Very good. Down we go. Little one on the end. This one I'm going to make a circle and then add in that triangle. Last one is kind of curved up and down. So our first oval is going to go this way. Then our next one is going to go this way. Then our little one right below that, and connecting triangle. Very good. You guys are awesome. I bet that's going to look really cool. Okay, last little bit. We need 2 ovals here for our back feathers. They're going to live just below that triangle on its back. So from that base of that triangle, drag your arm down that shape and add in an oval that's kind of going that same direction. It's going to be kind of big, just like this. And next to that, one more. Now I'm finding I like to go counterclockwise when I draw my ovals. Do you have a preference on which direction feels better to you? Apparently I do. Okay, believe it or not, oh wait, let's add in a few details that you might be more comfortable adding with your pencil first. Up along the face, we did this with the hummingbird. We are going to draw some J's. That seemed to be the favorite shape that people preferred to use, so we're going to do that. Along this circle where we have our face, we are going to add in a few J's. They're tilted, so if you want to rotate your paper, and you can get some J shapes there. I'm just touching my pencil down and curving it around like I'm drawing the letter J, and I am connecting them so they're all hooked together. Can you see that? I'm going to do a little arc at the end. I didn't do that on my guide, but I think this guy calls for it. All right, and same thing around this chest circle that we drew. Around the bottom edge of that, let's do that same shape. We're going to do down to that base there of that circle, and then right back up, just like that. See how that's a letter J? Do another one right next to it. So I'm drawing the J, and then I'm just kind of flicking my wrist up on that top part, just like that. When you flick your hand up, it removes your pencil or your marker, and it makes your line get a little lighter. All right, I'm going to go all the way over to that wing. Believe it or not, you are all set for tracing. So you've done all the heavy lifting. Now we are going to switch over to our marker. If you don't have a marker, you can use a pen. I've seen some really cool gel pen drawings being sent to me. It doesn't have to be black. Whatever you have that you can't erase, that's what you're grabbing now. We are going to start up at the beak, and we are going to go from where that oval dipped down. We're going to go over that to the head. Very good. From the head, we're going to go around this oval and down. So go around the top, and as you curve around that edge, give a little flick right there. So good. All right, connect that flick over to your connecting triangle there. Give one more, another little flick. His hair's like ruffling in the wind. Connect that back over. Now we are going to ride this line. So where we drew that connecting triangle, going around to that oval of the body, this is what's going to read in front. So we are going to follow this line all the way down, connect onto our hip there, down to that stump. So go ahead and draw that with me. Take that line, I'm planting my wrist, and I'm just tracing over things I've already drawn. Now my hand feels like I want to move, so I'm going to stop there. Maybe you do the same, and then hop onto that oval and stop there. Okay? Let's go back up. We're going to go from that inside of that little oval at the end of the beak there. We're going to go over that into that dividing line. Now that is going to give us that little hook that they use when they are eating. From there, we're going to go onto this face, just above, almost to where we've got that little dot for the nostril. And we're going to take that, ride that down to the connecting triangle. Very good. Now let's draw in that last little part of the beak, just like that. And add in our nostril, color in where you had that. Next up, let's do the eye, because that's kind of cool. we are going to trace right over where we had those two arcs, one going that way and one going that way. See how that gives our hawk some serious drama? He's got drama for days. Okay, now we are going to go around this circle. I'm going to start on this side and curve over. And where we had that little extra bit, I'm going to fill that in. See that? That adds in some drama. Now on the inside circle, I'm going to leave that littlest one, I'm going to leave that white, and I'm just going to fill in that bigger section there. Look, he is serious. That's good. That's what we want him to look. They are intense. Okay, now on this side, this wing is what is going to live in front. So we are going to go from, we're going to call it his shoulder. Again, if you know all the technical terms, let me know. We're going to go around that wing, ride that oval down onto the rectangle, down the triangle, and stop. Okay, so here we go. Around the wing, pick your favorite lines, down onto the rectangle, down onto that triangle, and stop. Now I notice as I'm drawing, because these are larger sweeping motions where we're tracing over what we drew, I am setting my marker down and picking my favorite line and kind of dragging my hand. You do the same. Around his back, we're going to do the exact same thing on the exterior of those shapes, picking our favorite lines. Nice and smooth. See how I'm pulling my hand down the page? At the base, give it a little flick. We'll add in a little detail there. Now we know where our neck and body are going to catch up. So go ahead and connect those just like that. So good. All right, over to the other wing. We're going to go around this oval all the way down to where it meets up with the body. So we had the oval, picking my favorite line, going around that, onto that connecting triangle, and I'm stopping. Now I'm going to go around this oval and that oval, just like that. I'm going to actually do that. Add in that little line right there. Okay, what's next? Let's do this part of the leg, and then I think we need to do our stump so we know what lives in front and what gets pushed behind. So where we had that little bit darker line, we're going to take that around the oval onto this rectangle and straight down. So go ahead and trace over those, around the oval, onto the rectangle, and stop. Now where we had our circle here, connecting to this rectangle, we're just going to give a little hint of that circle, just a tiny little bit. Draw that little bit there and connect down. All right, now I think in order to get things going where they need to go, we are going to draw in this stump. So let's start on this right-hand side from where our claw or talon is. We're going to start there and go over and down, tracing over what you've drawn, that nice little arc there, and then down. Pull your arm down your paper. Very good. Now, on this side, from this last talon or claw, I'm dying to know now. That's going to drive me nuts. I really should have looked it up. From here, we're going to go over and then down to where our claw is and down the rest of the way. So we're going to go over and stop. Down just a little bit. If your claw comes into that shape, pick up your marker, catch up on the other side, just like that. All right, now we're ready to draw our claws. On this one, we are going to just go around the exterior shapes, around that oval to his knuckle, down to his other knuckle, and around to that triangle, and then right back up to the knuckle, and then over. Same thing on this one, around that shape, ride that right back up. Very cool. Okay, last one, we're going to go around these just the same way, almost like you're drawing fingers. If you wanted to draw a person and you wanted to draw their hands, this is exactly how I would suggest doing it, minus the triangle on the end. Just going to follow those shapes. Where they connect, you start on the next one. Give me a thumbs up if you're having fun and learning something new. On this one, I'm going to come up a little bit. Now on this last one, I'm going to go all the way around that oval and then right back down onto the triangle. Look what you just drew. You're amazing. All right, last little bit here. We're going to go a little bit of a hint of that feather oval there and stop because our post is in front. Then we're going to go around and stop, around and back up. You just drew a hawk. You're awesome. All right, let's add in a few of those cool little details. Do our J's. Flick, around, lift up, around, lift up. That last little bit. I'm going to add in a couple little dots along that top edge of that breast circle there, his chest. Just a few cool little dots to give a hint of that roundness. If you've done these drawings with me before, you know I like to do my dots in odd numbers because maybe I'm odd, but I did 5. I'm going to add in 6 and 7. You decide how many you want to have and draw those in. Now let's go down along here. This is going to help us give that puffed up chest that we want. We're going to start with our J's. Down, flick up, down, flick up, all the way around. So good. All right, then down this wing, let's go from about here all the way down. Let's add in those dots. Now, if you look up hawks online, I'm not going to count these, and I'm not going to worry if it's uneven. I'll have to deal with it. If you look up hawks online, you will see their feathers are stunning. Gorgeous, gorgeous designs on their feathers. If you want to take the time to look into some of those designs and add them in, please do. It would just add to your drawing, add more detail. But I didn't want to make the tutorial too long, so I didn't do that. But you are welcome to do that on your own. Send me your drawings. Send them to me. I want to see what you're doing. Okay, we've got a hawk. He's awesome. Oh wait, a few more dots. Let's add a few dots around this circle here. I'm going to add in 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Space them ever so slightly apart. I like to do the dots on birds because they're really strong and bold creatures, but they're also very delicate, and I feel like the dots give that delicate touch. Okay, you're ready to switch over to your eraser. I'm going to switch over to my guide because I drew this guy with pencil, and I'm going to erase right along with you. Steady your paper so you don't crinkle it, and go back and forth and erase all your pencil lines. You should feel really proud of yourself. I can tell you did an amazing job and you drew a hawk that you did not know you could do. Can't wait to see them, so send me your drawings in the comments below. Rhonda, thank you for the suggestion. I am in need of some suggestions for next week. I've got a few, but I need to fill up the week, so let me know. What do you want to learn how to draw? If you want to see some other fun things, you can check me out on Instagram at RebeccaInkabink and online, RebeccaInk.com. Under the Interact tab, you'll find all of the drawings that you guys have sent me. If you sent me something, it's on there. Check it out. And then I wanted to show you one more thing. I started doing yesterday. We drew this guy. And I made a coloring page for you out of it. So there's a coloring page on there that I'm going to upload later. And then last week, oh, I don't know where my elephant is, but we drew these elephants for Anna's grandpa. And I turned these guys into a coloring page as well. So check them out. That's something else fun for you to do. Those are digital downloads. You just download them, print them off, and color them. Thank you for drawing a hawk with me today. I hope you had fun. I will be back on Monday. Stay home, stay positive, stay safe, and we'll see you soon. Bye.